Welcome to Discourse. Today we're going to be discussing Janice Everet by Meredith Lee Burton. What if Jane Eyre were blind and lived in the rural South during the Great Depression, World War II, and the 1950s? This inverted story, inspired by a beloved classic, explores these questions and many more. When Janice accepts a position to teach a precocious and rambunctious little girl who is also blind, the malevolent events of her past prove to have shocking connections with her brusque and mysterious employer. Hidden passions, danger, and self-discovery await in this account of a strong woman who will stop at nothing to protect the one she has grown to love. Yet true love often means letting go. A story of confronting adversity, hidden secrets, and forbidden love. Janice Everet will make you see Charlotte Bronte's classic with new eyes. So, a Southern Gothic Jane Eyre retelling story. Set in the 1930s to the 1950s, and our main character is Janice, who is blind.
And honestly, I don't know, because I just started reading the book. Then she said that the words...
Oh, you mean you didn't read the synopsis beforehand?
No.
Oh, okay.
So I like to just jumping in, and she kind of read that as she skimmed through the book, the words flowed into her brain. I was like, what? I was like, that was pretty cool.
Oh, so you didn't realize at all what she was doing. She was reading Braille.
Yeah,
okay.
I was like, that's awesome. Just the way it's written. Overall, well-written book. So I'm going into that. So the book starts off, she's in a train, going to a school where she was just hired to teach. And some little girl, because she's always in her thoughts, right? So I don't know where this little girl is like, Mom, look at her eyes. And the mom, of course, like, it's not polite to stare or look, or kids say crazy things. And she's like, but they're so big. They look like frog eyes. And that plays a big part throughout the story. I just like that transition, how she starts talking to the little girl, telling the mom it's okay. So she's like, would you like me to read you a book? And she brings out one of her favorite books that's written in Braille. So she starts reading into her. And just the way it flows and transitions into, like, from the beginning, this is my story. Charlotte sat beside me as I softly read about two sisters, one named Laura and one named Lizzie. Laura was captured by goblins, and Lizzie had to try and rescue her. As I read the familiar text, my mind wandered back to the momentous time of Arnold's homecoming. He was a goblin if ever there was one, and he was the first person who had ever compared me to a frog.
Yeah, the author does a really amazing job with connecting present time with the past time to get us started into her beginning, right? Her childhood, her upbringing in her aunt's house, which...
Aunt Edith.
Yeah, Aunt Edith. But I want to say it's like half bad, half great. Because of Gustav and Bessie, they were the light that she had living in this really dark home.
Yeah, because she was 10, her parents died, and her Aunt Edith took her in. And
as a charity case.
Yeah, as a charity case, and she was blind, so her aunt treated her like, such a burden. I gotta do this, I gotta do that.
And as if she wasn't intelligent, like she's not or capable of being intelligent.
Yeah, plus she was helping Gustav, like the servants, like she was helping them cook, wash the car, do errands, do a lot of things. It's like she wasn't useless.
Right.
She was doing more than her own daughters.
She was just blind.
But Gustav and Bessie treated her, like family. They appreciated the time she spent with them. And they even taught her, it's like, wash it this way or else that. You gotta do it this way.
Yeah.
Even with cooking. Like, she was not useless.
Right. She was obviously very intelligent and capable of learning anything if someone was willing to teach her. I like the fact that the author places them at the same level, right? These servants. She never directly says, talks about racism, but it is implied that we know Gustav is black, and that is why he is a servant, right? And Bessie is also. So I liked that the author shows them as all equal, right? Even though at this point it has nothing to do with the color of their skin. It's because of they've been seen as different than, as less than, that they all are kind of pushed into this group together. And I like to, even though it was unfortunate that she grew up this way, feeling so unloved and so belittled all the time and useless, like you said, I think it's kind of like in Harry Potter. he needed that upbringing to make him a better person. It really helped Janice understand the importance of people, of who they really are.
Which is crazy because she's blind.
Right.
But she sees them for how they treat her, how they talk to her, just how they are.
Right. Not the color of their skin or where they're from or their accent or anything like that. It's simply because they're good people. She can tell.
So it's just a good relationship between her and, they call them the servants, the help, whatever. But they were just people supporting her and the family. And this took place in the southern United States back in the 30s, between the 30s and 50s. So as you mentioned, there's like hints of, they're talking about you, or you looked at my sister wrong who's white and you know what's going to happen.
Right.
And they briefly mention cases of people getting, doesn't say, but we know the history, like beat up, or I don't know, it's just crazy how through the storytelling and how the book is written, you could just see how
you understand the time without the author having to go into it, which is important because it wasn't really a big part of the story. It was more so that Janice felt different than able-seeing people.
Yeah, and then, of course, it was a homecoming of Arnold, cousin. Yeah, that guy is just evil and plays a big part in her life.
Yeah, at the beginning of the book, so I actually listened to the narration of this book, which was amazing. It's narrated by Talon David, and she does an amazing job. At the beginning, there are disclaimers. There's like trigger warnings and stuff. So especially with Arnold getting involved now, there's
improper touching, verbal abuse.
Right.
And he was already, I would say, a teenager, and she was only 10 and blind, which is crazy.
He was ready to go off to college. I know. Or actually, no, he's in college because he comes home and he has this project that is due, this art project. And it's like a series of different
it's like
portraits.
Storytelling through art.
Yeah. And so Arnold is fascinated by Janice and her, not necessarily her blindness, but the way she looks, like her eyes. As it was described at the beginning by that young child on the bus, that her eyes were bulging, right? Like a frog.
And he did stuff to her, and because of Gustav, he saved her from further
abuse.
And he almost got fired, but she actually stood up to her aunt, and all of this leads to, a big part of her life where she goes off to the Pembroke School for the blind.
Yeah, no, this is the turning point for her life. She is checked out by a doctor because of what happened, which I'm so thankful that the author goes into us believing, beside her aunt and Arnold, who was the horrible person in this whole thing, other than them not believing her, everyone else seemed to really be on her side and want the best for her. So after she gets checked out by the doctor recommends that she go to the school, Pembroke School of the Blind. And so that's where her journey leads her. And this is the turning point of her life where she goes and she's actually taught, she's actually educated. And not only that, she's able to learn life skills for people who are blind and her independence, which is incredible.
Because I didn't think about it till I read it through the book. It's like everyone just pulled her, or they had her lead them, so she would always stumble when they were going too fast or too slow. But at the school, the teacher, Miss Terrence, which was great, was sort of no, you're not going to lead. You hold on to my arm. Right. And, I'm going to lead and you follow.
Yeah, until you learn how to use the walking stick, which I was like, oh my gosh. I loved that we got to see the progression, the education of Janice as well. I learned so much about people who are blind and some of the things, like pouring themselves something to drink, how they do that on their own. It's such small things, but they're things that really, truly matter, especially to a person who's not able to completely do what everybody else does just because they can see.
She learned a lot of skills. I learned a lot about what they go through and what they can do.
Yeah, the struggles, and not just that, it's also the empowerment of them as well, and how all their other senses really kind of start firing up, and they have better hearing, and they have better sense of touch and a better sense of smell. She eventually, once we get there, she eventually knows what different woods smell like, and
the trees.
That's just wild. Yeah, this book, we're taken on such a journey where Janice, she's finding her purpose in life, her place, her found family, her people. And there's twists and turns and a lot of things going on. And it's definitely an exciting read for sure. You're not expecting what's coming to come, that's for sure. Be sure to check out Janice Everet by Meredith Lee Burton.